Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kwakadash Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. So I want to give it honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, who has taught me this truth. I want to give it peace and blessings that I came across the four corners of the earth, who teach this truth from rest of life to do so. It's going to be a quick video. Lord, the video is edifying. Lord willing, I can get something from this video. Quick video through the Spirit. I'm just going to grab a couple precepts here in Philippians. But before I do that, we're going to go to the book of Colossians really fast. And this video is basically is going to be on how to walk as being a man of the Lord. It's books in the scriptures that are my go-tos for advice on how to move being a man of the Lord, being in this wicked world. And being a man of the Lord in this wicked world, you automatically, and this is not to be prideful or anything or took it in such way, but you're automatically separated from the majority of the world, because to be a man of the Lord, you're practicing on being righteous, right? You're practicing righteousness, right? And it's perfection of it, right? The world is engulfed and indulged in evil, and all they want to know how to do is be evil. So instead of them figuring out how to be righteous, right, they're more engulfed in, well, how can they be more wicked? And they might not say it out of their mind, but consciously and subconsciously, that's where their focus is. Because one thing about the flesh, which these people, all they do is to seek to please the flesh, is one thing about the flesh is that it doesn't get full, right? It wants more and more and more and more and more, okay? And that's why you have to have some type of govern over it. Least, you be out here fucked up. Or at least you get into all kind of madness and bullshit. Okay? You see it all the time with people, right? But what keeps you from doing that and keeps the flesh from taking over is the fear of the Lord. And the fear of the Lord will have you practicing righteousness, right? And obviously we can't keep the law perfectly, but we are supposed to keep it to the best of our abilities. And why wouldn't you want to? It's the perfect way to live, man. Okay? Give me 1 second. I'm drinking some of this water now. Yeah. Why wouldn't you, man? It's the perfect way to live. Okay, so instead of practicing on bullshit, right, and engulfing yourself and into what the flesh wants to do and the desires of it all, being a man of the Lord, your mind is more focused on salvation, righteousness, how to fear the Lord, how to continue to maintain fearing the Lord in every situation, okay, and having the Lord in all your thoughts, okay. So therefore, it'll keep you from getting into some bullshit. Now, obviously, we're in the flesh, right? But when you have your mind on the Lord, you try to keep your mind on the Lord all the time. It'll guide you away. That's implementing wisdom. It'll guide you away from trouble, man. Okay. And obviously we have to pray for protection, man. We have to pray that the Lord protect us from the said perils. Pray for protection from the evil things of this world, the spirits on these people, knowing that Satan has access to these motherfuckers, man. Okay. So this is Colossians 3:1. It says, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. Set your affection on things above, not on things of the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High. When Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. And that'll be a time where we'll begin to live. But that'll also be a time where we'll be perfect. We'll be immortal. Okay, yeah, we're living now, like literally living, right? But when I'm talking about living how we supposed to be living, right? What life is supposed to be. Right now, our people fucked up. You go to countries where it's majority of Jake, bro, them countries be fucked up. From, the southern tribes all the way down to the northern tribes. Okay? And it clearly shows you who has the power right now. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, which is Esau. Okay? And that's evident, man. If you ain't ever been nowhere and you go outside of the U.S., man, outside of the U.S. and Europe, and where it's predominantly Esau, or Esau rules it, and you go to other countries where it's, they got real poverty, and it's, motherfuckers on the street, women on the street breastfeeding their children. You dig what I'm saying? And you'll see some shit like, oh, shit. Like, damn. See, in America, I mean, you might come across that, but you don't come across it as often. Okay? And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's, a captivity greater than America. America is the greatest captivity ever. And one of the reasons why is because our people don't even know who we are. They don't even consider. They don't even give a fuck. And when you don't care, when you don't consider who you are, where you come from, or who you are, or your history, which is in the scriptures, then it's all chaos and hell from there. So what? Niggas shooting each other, killing each other, robbing each other, looking to be an enemy first before looking to be a help or a friend or a brother or a neighbor. So what? All laws in the average Jake mind go out the window because they don't have the fear of the Lord. But when you in a brotherhood and you have this brotherhood, right, when you're in this truth, right, you see how things are governed in between Akim and the camp. It's completely different on how things are governed in the world. Okay? It's Colossians 3 and back in 4. It says, when Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Yeah, man. Coveting after somebody, you want what somebody else got. Right? Uncleanness, inordinate affection, right? Evil concupiscence, you're lustful, right? Over lusting. You got an evil lust spirit on you. You're a horn dog. You know what I'm saying? You got moles and shit. You got moles around, around in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? And you see these motherfuckers have no control over nothing. Okay? Real talk. Right? And guess what? What this goes with, matter of fact, Colossians 3 and 5, let's go ahead and get it. It's like you're in a blue letter. Real quick. Let's get that word for mortify. Mortify is nikru. Let's see if we can hear it.
Strong's G 3499. Nekrao.
Okay, nekrao. Okay, it says to make dead, to put to death, slay, worn out of an impotent old man, to deprive of power, destroy the strength of. Right, limit it. Mortify it, destroy the strength of it. Okay? Let me go to this. Let me go, matter of fact, we'll grab that in just a moment. Lord willing, stay on my mind. Let me finish this. It says, for which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience, in which he also walked some time when he lived in them. So some of these traits were us, right? But scriptures talk about, when you read further down, the old man, right? Though these are things of the old man. We have to put on the new man, right? Right here. I'm jumping down to 9. It says, lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on a new man, which is renewed in knowledge. With knowledge? The knowledge of the scriptures, right? Which will make you what? Illuminated, okay? After the image of him that created him, okay? Right, going into the law, going into, how to be righteous, okay? How to judge correctly, okay? How to be a judge. What is a judge, right? These are things you got to know. What's the importance of a judge? Okay. Let me grab here. Let me grab that in the GNT. I was just reading it. It should be right here. Bible Gateway, right here. This is Philippians 2 and 3. It says, don't do anything. And obviously you got to pick the bones out of different translations. So I'm going to kind of jump around and go from there. It says, don't do anything from selfish ambition or from a cheap desire to boast, but be humble toward one another, always considering others better than yourselves. And this is something that even me, right? And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. This is something I have to work on, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't do anything from selfish ambition or from a cheap desire to boast. because that leads to being prideful. I did this, I did that. Look at me. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? That's not good in the eyes of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? But, we have to purge things like this out. Okay? And get into the mind of being humble and staying humble, knowing that, even this truth is not of our own doing. Okay? It says, but be humble toward one another, always considering others better than yourselves, and look out for one another's interests, not just for your own. And you don't have that in the world, man. You don't even have that in your immediate family like that. Not with your mom, dad, brother. You got siblings and shit. It ain't like that. You got that in the brotherhood, though. Okay, it says, and look out for one another's interests, not just for your own. The attitude ye should have is the one that Hamashiach Yahushua had. Okay, let me jump down. It says, let me see. Let me jump down. It says, like this, I could go into that, but I'm just not. That's a whole nother video for. I'm jumping down to 12. It says, so then, dear friends, as you always obeyed me when I was with you, it is even more important that you obey me now while I am away from you. Keep on working with fear and trembling to complete your salvation. See, it says, because the Most High is always at work in you to make you willing and able to obey his own purpose. Right. So the Lord is always at work. Okay, to make you obey his own purpose. Okay, that's what scripture say. The Lord controls everything, man. The scripture say that the Lord directs the steps of men. Okay. Well, I got hot in this one. Give me 1 second. Jump that trim down. Okay, come on. All right, what we got? Okay, it says, 14, do everything without complaining or arguing, so that ye may be innocent and pure as the Most High's perfect children who live in a world of corrupt and sinful people. You must shine among them like stars lighting up the sky. And again, this truth makes you illuminated. Okay, as a matter of fact, we'll end it with this. We'll end it with this. Ended with this, just to back one point up on that. This is Hebrews 10 and 32. It says, but call to remembrance the former days in which after you were illuminated, you endured a great fight of afflictions. Okay, once we were illuminated that light. Okay, once we became once we got in this truth. Okay, once the Lord blessed us with this truth, we became illuminated. 33, it says, partly whilst you were made a gazing stock both by reproaches and afflictions, and partly whilst you became companions of them that were so used. Okay, it says, for ye had compassion of me and my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye in heaven have a better and enduring substance. Right, that's why back in Colossians, the 3rd chapter, it says what? Focus on the things, focus on the kingdom, basically. Focus on salvation, focus on the things above, not things on the earth. Okay, seeing that, obviously, I'm not saying be a bum or nothing like that. The Lord still blesses, right? If the Lord bless you with a family, a house, money, a good situation, don't don't throw it away because the Lord is blessing you with that. You're able to handle that, right? And it's better to have it than to not, in most cases, right? Certain things, right? And certain things I'm talking about, like when they come to like good situations, like, money situations. We use the word, we don't abuse it. Okay. It says, for ye had compassion of, it's like a jump down 35. It says, cast not away therefore. No, I'll read this again. It's like, for ye had compassion of me in my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and enduring substance. Cast not away therefore your confidence, which have a great recompense of reward. And confidence, right? You got to have faith to have confidence. Okay, which having faith that leads you to that reward, which is salvation, that the Lord wants you to be saved. Okay, but it's impossible to please the Lord without faith. 36, for ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. So we can't draw back into the world. Ain't nothing here in the world. Ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing there, man. And everything in it going to be destroyed anyway. Okay? 39, it says, but we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul, man. So we're not them that draw back into wickedness, all bullshit. Okay? Fuck all that, man. Keep your eyes on the prize, man. Okay? So with that, man, Lord, in fearing the Lord, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eyes single towards that. Okay, so with that, may the Lord in the video is edifying. Only I can got something from this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kakadash. I want to tell you, brothers, keep pushing on to the next. Shalom.